Why is it not on YouTube? Fuck. Why is it not on YouTube? Oh, there we go. It's on YouTube.
Sounds like we're cooking with gas now, brother.
All right. Got that going over there. What time is it?
It is 5:58 by my computer clock.
Okay. There we go. Woo! You know what? We're live on YouTube. It's been a while since I forget. I need at least 15, 20 minutes just to set this up. But we are good to go, Jackson. We'll give it another minute. But as you can see, we are ready to rock. But yeah, it's just it's been a while. How long has it been?
It's been almost a month.
Oh shit! I thought it was like a couple weeks.
It was easily 3 weeks. I mean, the last one we did was before Kauai.
Oh damn. Okay. Yeah, I'm starting. I feel like maybe tonight I'll get a good night's sleep. I haven't had that in a while just because I've been filling up all the holes, but I think we're ready to rock. People can jump in and watch the replay. So let me just press record on this side. And there we go. Rock and roll, Jackson.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of Pitted with Action and Manny V. I'm Steve Action Jackson. Joining me, my friend, colleague, the legend himself, Manny Vargas, back stateside after being on the fly for nearly a month. We appreciate everybody's patience while we took a little hiatus to accommodate not only his travel itinerary, but I had some stuff I had to take care of outside of California as well. So we both kind of been on the fly with our hands full. We appreciate your patience as always with Book Life.
Yes, 100%. We can't thank you enough. Jason, we see you over at YouTube. Thanks for chiming in for the live broadcast. And this is going to be available for those of you that are not watching it live. But yeah, Jackson, it has been nonstop. And I don't know if you can tell by the bags under my eyes. I need to catch up on some sleep. But I feel the light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, but it's been pretty dang amazing.
Well, in the time that we were away, lots went down. We've got a ton to talk about, so let's get into it. First and foremost, shout outs. This week, my shout out goes to the head of the Boogeyman Bodyboard Club, Chris Whitehead. Yesterday, he ended up getting carted off on a stretcher in the back of an ambulance at the Wedge. The Wedge claiming another victim. He broke a rib. Got a little mangled, and I just wanted to say, heal up quick, brother.
The Wedge is no joke. Yeah, Chris, get well. But yeah, experienced bodyboarders, wave riders, whatever, watercraft or just your body. The Wedge, at some point, will have its day with you, whether it's now, later, or it already has. But definitely not something to take very lightly. So yeah, get well, Chris. Fuck. When did that happen? Yesterday?
Yesterday. Yeah, waves have picked up a little bit. I guess there was a little something at the Wedge. And as usual, the Wedge has no qualms mangling a few bodies.
Yeah, that place is pretty hectic. I think I stopped going there back in the early 90s just because it was fun, but I'd rather have a right-hand point break than just a ginormous short break barrel. But still, if you bodyboard and that's on your list of waves to ride, by all means, go for it. But yeah,
my own personal experience, I haven't ridden there in about 12 years, I'd say. I gotten ragdolled enough there to know that at 47 years old now, not the best idea for me to try and paddle out the wedge. I'll let the young bucks take that place on. There's guys like Craig Wetter, Tanner McDaniel, and Custom X team rider Cole Smith who charge that place. Countless others charge that place and have a good handle on it. But as we've seen in years past, even the most seasoned veterans, the most experienced wedge riders, sooner or later, the wedge is going to come looking for rent, and you better be ready to pay up.
Exactly. So no more for me. Get well, Chris. Shout outs on my end. Pretty much all the competitors I've seen in the past few weeks. Everybody in the Garden Island Boogie Board Classic on Kauai, and all the drop nears at the DK Sessions 20-year anniversary. I mean, just seeing the competitive fire amongst the Super Groms at the Kauai event and the old veterans at the DKS or the DK Sessions event in Port Macquarie in Australia. Just to see that, and I gotta give a shout out to the people that are putting these events together and doing it right. Jeff Hubbard and Chris Burkhart, their team is freaking amazing. At the Garden Island Boogie Board Classic, put it on your list to go and experience that. I know they got limited amount of spots, and they want their Islanders to take most of the spots, if not all the spots. But if you can sneak away and be a part of it, I highly suggest it. It's freaking pretty phenomenal. DKS, Clayton Pickworth and his crew, fabulous job. I mean, they got it pretty wired, but I kept asking them, why is this not broadcast live? It's mobile, and some parts of Port Macquarie are limited in the cell phone service, high speed access to the internet. So rather than even dealing with that, they just, they're really hard on the social media. And, but yeah, Port Macquarie, freaking amazing town in Australia. So the shout out competitors, organizers of what I witnessed in the past couple weeks, it was freaking amazing.
And with that, that's going to roll us right into the news. We're going to let you start this time around and give us the full rundown on the Garden Island Boogie Classic. I keep wanting to call it the Kauai Classic. Different animal, different group of bodyboarders, but the Garden Island Boogie Board Classic and the Drop Knee Sessions event, you pretty much went from Kauai to Australia, and let us know what went down.
Sorry I blew the lid on that one, but I'm going to start with the DK Sessions because it's more recent, fresh in my mind. But Dane Pope from Southern Australia, he and along with some friends drove 16 hours to get to this event, and he in the final was the only one that hasn't won the event. So this was a little extra bonus to pull off a win amongst the former DKS champions. And well-deserved too. He came out firing right off the bat, and he was pretty much untouchable from the very get-go of the final. But Dane Pope, super humble, very good human being. And so congratulations to him. And it was awesome to catch up with some of the old school riders that I've seen out there, including Crispin Hughes. He showed up, and it was pretty awesome. Coolest part about it, as you know, VBC, a lot of their collectors are in Australia, and a few of them dropped me, and they did bring a small collection of their boards. And it's pretty cool to see these guys and talk about the history of the board themselves, not only just to say, here, I have this, but they go in depth and talk about the board themselves, which is freaking pretty cool. Congrats to Dane Pope. In the Garden Island Boogie Board Classic, man, it was, you know what? There's so many categories and so much stoke at the award ceremony, but who was it? I know David Hubbard, he did win the drop knee, and he may have swept. I know he swept the Maldives, but I don't think he swept the Garden Island Boogie Board Classic. I don't have the results memorized, but I will say this: the quality of writing that I see at this event is world class. And it's obvious why so many champions come from there and why they hold on to, almost 20 world titles in that, area of Hawaii. So they're definitely a breeding ground for champions. And it's going to be pretty interesting to see some of these competitors where they will be in the next few years if these guys on the world tour, lay out a pretty solid foundation for the world tour. So we'll see in the years to come who will be the next champion from Hawaii. And if you want to be one of those people that said, "Oh yeah, I remember seeing him when he was young," go to the event next year. You will not be disappointed. I think they got a pretty good Facebook page with all that information. So we'll put it in the link at the end. But both events, amazing. Great catching up with everybody. I've been pushing Chris Burkhardt to try to just put it out there, and whoever shows up to the Quiet Classic expression session sometime during the event would be pretty amazing to see these guys just go out and ride waves together.
Given that the Kauai Classic bodyboard team was one of the major influences on me when I was a Grom, God, I would love to see those guys back out in the water. Harry Anapala, Chris Tenberg, Kyle Maligro, Bretta Burks. Yeah, those guys were so far ahead of their time back in the late 80s, early 90s, and were a massive influence on this Grom from New Jersey. So, for everybody who's watching, IBC has actually posted a highlights clip of the drop knee from that event. And to say it goes off is putting it lightly. Those guys were absolutely on fire. If you get a chance, go to YouTube and check out the highlights from the drop knee division from the Garden Island Boogie Board Classic. With you touching on Garden Island and DKS, you had mentioned in passing the Maldives Pro, part of the IBC World Tour, and the riders that were there and people who were able to watch, given the major time difference, have been raving about this event. The conditions were killer. The performances were, at peak level. And in the end, Isabella Souza, 4-time world champion, took the win in the women's division. She went up against Alexandra Rinder, 2-time world champion. And Bella took out the win. The big story, Dave Hubbard. Dub pulls the double. He won the men's and the drop knee division at the same event, coming off of his win in Kauai. And you know what? I have a feeling this year, with multiple events factoring in, you may very well see a serious battle between Dub, Sammy Martino, and I'm even going to throw Mac Crilly into the mix. We'll get to him in a minute. But Dave, 8-time world drop knee champion. Sammy, 4-time drop knee world champion, defending world champion. This is going to be a continuing story for years until the day Dave Hubbard hangs up his competition jersey, which I don't see happening anytime soon because he is absolutely slaying it, both in the men's division and the drop knee division. I've been saying for years, one of the people with the most likely chance of winning world titles simultaneously in the same year, Dave Hubbard. Sammy Martino in that conversation as well. So
that rivalry is pretty epic. I mean, if you lay it down, you have the good boy, David Hubbard. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't, he's married, he's got a freaking super stable life, and he's the clean cut kid. And then on the flip side, you have Sammy Martino, who absolutely
the meerkat. The bad boy.
So he is the bad boy in between those two. And it's just you couldn't ask for a better rivalry.
Yeah, you know what? This is the kind of stuff that needs to be scripted for a Hollywood movie, especially considering the influence that Dave has had on Sammy. And just the story of Sammy's life factoring in, made for Hollywood films.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty amazing these next few years between those two. I can't wait to see how that unravels.
Now, on to our next piece of news. The Tanned Invitational in South Africa went down while we're on hiatus. It's on the west coast of South Africa. Super heavy slabbing wave. I mean, not to be taken lightly. And this year's event absolutely fired. And Jared Houston, once again, took the win. I didn't pull it up. Well, I've watched it, but I didn't pull it up for this episode of Book Life. But the highlights, it's a 9-minute long video and worth every second of viewing.
I have yet to see it, so I will definitely pull it up once we get offline here, and we'll put the link. You know what? I'll put the link on Book Life, the webpage, so you guys can have access to it through there as well.
And on to the next piece of competition news. The second event on the APB North America Regional Tour, the Colorado Pro. Yeah, there were a lot of people talking about this event, having an event in Mexico at a well-known spot. And you know what? It served up the goods. There were some solid waves, some fun waves coming through for competitors. And again, another big story came to be at this year's Colorado Pro. We saw Matt Crilly win the drop knee division. 2018 Women's World Champion Ayaka Suzuki winning the women's. I don't know if this has ever happened before at the same event, but husband and wife both made the podium. And on the way to doing so, Matt Crilly dropped a 10-point drop knee air reverse. Smooth, fluid, and you know what? After I saw the video clip, I even was so bold to go on social media and be like, everybody in the bodyboarding world needs to be talking about Matt Crilly in that ride.
No, I've seen it several times too. I'm like, how did he do it so perfectly? I mean, it looked flawless. It looked effortless. He didn't put any effort into it. He just hit it perfectly, did the reverse in the air, landed, and kept riding as if it was something he does every day. But yeah, that is definitely a sight to see if you're a drop kneer or just a bodyboarder. Yeah, he nailed it.
And for those of you who have not seen it yet, if you go to Matt Crilly's Instagram page, it's on there. And the icing on the cake with that clip is Ayaka's commentary is classic.
That's right.
I'll leave that for all of you to check out. I'm not going to spoil it any further. But I am going to roll into the next piece of news. We were supposed to have event number 1 of the 2022 California bodyboarding tour this weekend, yesterday, as a matter of fact. Unfortunately, storm runoff and urban runoff issues with the Tijuana River forced the postponement of the event. Water quality was of great concern. And so the event has been rescheduled for September 17th at Imperial Beach. Hopefully we'll be able to pull that off with no issues. Unfortunately, this is the second time in 2 years there's been a postponement of an event on the California tour due to water quality issues. And unfortunately, this is just a sad reality of the world we live in. Whether it's a sewage spill or rain runoff, you have to be concerned with water quality. And unfortunately, these days, they tell you to wait 72 hours before hitting a spot after it rains. It used to just be 24 hours back in the 90s. Then it progressed to 48. And now in this day and age, water quality is such a great issue that if it rains and all that water flushes out into the ocean, anything sooner than 72 hours, you're running a risk of getting some nasty and going to the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the town, Imperial Beach, where they were going to have the event. And yeah, you nailed it. Back in the day, the development and infrastructure in Tijuana was a little bit better than what it is now. And now the infrastructure can't handle the development side of things. And so a lot of it's just pretty much just raw sewage on top of the rain, and it can't handle it. So yeah, that's what happened in this event. And it sucks because one, a lot of people look forward to the event, and two, it keeps people out of the water, and it's sad, but it is rescheduled. Crossing our fingers that set date goes on.
Well, I do have to tip my cap to Jonathan Gabrielson with California Bodyboarding Alliance, all of the organizers and people that play a part in the CBA, as well as APB North America and Bodyboarding US, for erring on the side of caution. Nobody likes to surf in doo-doo water and get sick.
Nope, no, you're right. But yeah, they do have it rescheduled, and we wish them the best of luck. I won't be able to make that weekend. I already had plans, but I'm sure things will line up and go off as they did last year.
Well, speaking of having plans already in place for September 17th, that rolls us into my final piece of news. The Custom X 35th anniversary expression session meetup series. Our next event is next Saturday at Mission Beach at 9 a.m. between Lifeguard Towers 13 and 14. For those of you who don't know, Mission Beach on Saturday mornings, usually around 9:30, they clear the surfers out of the water and move them to the south of Lifeguard Tower 13 or the north of Tower 14. And that spot in the center there is for bodyboarders and swimmers only. Perfect time to have a meetup. We've gotten a solid response already. Oceanside Boogie Moms has already let us know they plan on being there. So, we'll have the ladies and the little Groms in attendance. Looking forward to a fun morning on the beach at Mission Beach next Saturday. But unfortunately, the meetup after that, our end of summer meetup that I was working on for T Street, supposed to be on September 17th, to avoid a conflict of interest. Um, that event has been canceled. Obviously, will be in Imperial Beach for CBA event number 1. Also, as an unfortunate result of the ongoing water quality concerns at Imperial Beach Pier, the holiday meetup on December 17th has been canceled as well. So that leaves us with 2 expression sessions remaining. The Dog Days of Summer next Saturday, and Saturday, October 29th, the grand finale, the Custom X Boogie Boo, the in-water costume party at Tyson Street Park.
Oh,
So,
sick.
yes, and the winner of Best In-Water Costume at Boogie Boo will be getting a free board from Custom X. So that,
Sick.
yeah, Saturday's event at Mission Beach is being run in coordination with SoCal Bodyboarders. The Boogie Boo is going to be run in coordination with San Diego Bodyboarders as well as the Boogeymen Bodyboard Club. Because, hey, what's Halloween weekend without the Boogeyman?
Perfect.
All
Awesome.
right. With all that news said and done, and that was a lot this week.
Yeah.
We're going to jump into the music spotlight. Now, my summer has been heavily fueled by a lot of punk rock, hardcore, and thrash metal. It's been a super aggro summer here in SoCal. And, in the time we've been on hiatus, we've had music dropping from Anti-Flag, Beach Rats, New Jersey, Megadeth, Anthrax, Ozzy Osbourne. New Arch Enemy came out on Friday, and I could very easily drop music from any one of those and have everybody banging their heads. But something that I thought was really, really cool, a couple of days ago, the Beastie Boys YouTube channel started dropping live videos. So the video I chose for this week's episode, Shadrach off of Paul's Boutique back in 1989. This is live video footage from 1990 at the Pasadena Country Club.
All right, let's have a look. What?
And for those of you who haven't picked up on it thus far, I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan. I grew up on these guys.
Did you see them in concert?
Yes, I did. I was lucky enough to see them during the 90s.
Where did you see them?
I actually saw them at a benefit concert in East Rutherford, New Jersey, at the old Brendan Byrne Arena, which is up by the American Dream Mega Mall and MetLife Stadium. I saw them with Black Star, which for those of you who don't know, Black Star is Talib Kweli and Mos Def. Also playing that bill, Bad Religion and Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, that friggin' sounds like an epic day. Damn.
That was an amazing experience, and the seats were incredible. We were just off to the like side front, so we were fairly up close, and each one of those acts that I named legendary in their own right, and they all went off.
Oh my god.
But yeah, the Beastie Boys, late grade school and through high school and beyond, these guys have been a part of the soundtrack of my life, bro. I saw this on YouTube, and straight up my reaction was like, no fucking way. New Beastie Boys live footage. There's a couple of videos. I saw this. They've got one for Gratitude. Definitely worth jumping on YouTube and checking out.
Yeah, this thing remastered in HD is part of their description. Yeah, this thing's sick. Good choice, Jackson.
And as always, Shadrach, a great party song. You know, if you're looking for music to cruise to or party to, you can't go wrong with the Beastie Boys.
Yep, I agree with you 100%.
All right, with that all said and Beastie Boys bouncing around inside my head right now, we're going to get into the Bug Life video of the week. Excuse me. Water.
Water. I'll join you.
This week's video of the week, again, there's a plethora of videos I could have picked. Highlights from the Maldives, highlights from Garden Island, highlights from Tanned. Like I said, it's a 9-minute long video, but I figured we'd jump ahead a little bit by checking out the teaser trailer for this year's upcoming 2022 Adele Challenge in France. Roll the tape, brother.
Here we go. Where is the play button? Boom. So epic.
You know what? I would love to check this place out in person. Again, another super heavy wave for an IBC World Tour invitational event.
Yeah, I think you have to ferry to the island, right?
Yeah.
And there's a left and a right. Oh my God, there's the right. Jesus. That's the thing. They're competing in this stuff.
Heavy water, bro. Heavy water.
Oh my God, I love this soundtrack. Whoa, that was amazing. Wow, great choice again.
Yeah, you know what? The footage from that venue, along with the music they scored it to, pretty epic in scale.
Yeah, they did a great job. Holy crap. Um, who are the guys that run it? Do we know who that is?
Um, I do not remember their names offhand. I apologize. I want to say Gwen Renenbo is one of them, but don't quote me on that. But I will say this: two-time world champ Pierre Louis Costas and Alex Uranga are regulars at this event, as well as some pretty die-hard local rippers as well. Definitely worth keeping an eye on because when they give the green light, it's going to be go time.
Yeah, it's cool too seeing a couple of the faces. Simone from Italy was there. He was the Italian who we interviewed down in the Canary Islands, and he's a big wave rider from Italy. Amazing. And also Lionel Medina, one of the winners of the Fronton Pro. So to see their faces and see them participating is a pretty cool sight to see too. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I'd love to go and see the event, not necessarily participate in the event because I know my body would probably not be able to handle that. But to see it
Yeah,
firsthand,
I'd be getting hauled off by the paramedics at that spot. I'm pretty certain. I hate to admit it because there's a little bit of ego in the back of my head that hates to fess up to it. But at 47 years old, in the condition I'm in, there are world tour waves like Fronton, Anel, Tans,
yeah.
spots we've talked about, even here in Southern California at the Wedge, it would not be a good idea for me to paddle out because physically I would not be able to handle a beat down there.
No, I'm right there with you.
So, but anyway, on a more positive note, we're going to wrap things up with this week's weekly motivation. And like many people in the world, one of my favorite people to quote Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. And this week's quote is: if my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, I can achieve it. With that
Perfect.
said,
I love that.
with that said, another episode in the books. Thank you again, everybody, for waiting patiently while Book Life Pitted with Action Man EV was on hiatus. We're stoked to be back. We'll see you guys next week.